Howdy, everyone. Oh, hang on. There we go. Angry face. That's what I need. I need to be angry. Hello. Hopefully the music's alright. Volume-wise, but hello. It's... Paul is trying to work out how to stream again. It's Thursday, you know what that means. It's time to stream. How's everyone doing? Yeah, Paul is mad at stuff. As always, very, very upset and angry and not bothered. Technical VTuber? That's right, I'm a technical VTuber. As in, I am. The model is very technical. It can move and all sorts of stuff. I'm gonna turn the music down. Let me know if the music is now too quiet for you guys. Balance-wise between like the like my end and your end is wild at the moment. So hope that's all right. Yes, howdy all. It is Thursday. There's been some updates to the old 40k. Quite a lot of them as well. So that's what we're going through today. Just kind of look at that stuff. Kind of giving that a good old run through. And if we get time, we'll get time. We'll look at some Age of Sigmar stuff. But I think Age of Sigmar will be in the next couple of weeks because I think there's only one more faction focus. So getting close to Age of Sigmar's time. Yes, the new the balanced data slate and the field manual, points, nerfs, debuffs, and all that stuff. Yes, knights can now Kool-Aid man their way through terrain. Very cool change. Through half a ton at Warhammer World. Nice. Yeah, I went to Warhammer World last Thursday and didn't spend too much. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I went through the exhibition. That was very good as well. What I heard was how Gita was milking their player base for more money. I mean, one, they're a business, and two, what a weird thing to say about an update. God, they've changed all. They've nerfed and buffed everything just so they can get more money. I'm sure they're just not doing it because the game is. They want to change the game. Yeah, I spent an amount. I bought a Loon Shrine and a Venom and something else. I'm in Warhammer World in near 20 years, so it was interesting to go around. But yeah. Not more Centurions? No, not more Centurions. More stuff to procrastinate over, exactly. Especially because I've also signed up to Tabletop Tactics, one-day tournament league event. That's in September, so I actually need to finish painting an army. Taking Screaming Ravens. However, it depends on what the Screaming Ravens will look like, list-wise, because is a Stormraven at 280 worth it? I kind of want to still take it. I mean, the actual fix for the army is really simple. I just take out the Lieutenant with Combi Weapon and put in a Tech Marine, and that saves me the 20 points. But I do have to now buy another Tech Marine, which is a bit of a pain. But we can have a look at list stuff, because the other thing is my Crusade list is now too expensive. My Crusade list is like 1 for 7. It's terrible. So that's going to be fun. Oh, it's not quite 7 o'clock. I usually say I start at 7, but I usually go a little early just to hang out and chill and see how people are doing. And it's been a couple of weeks as well, because I was away last week. I was at Download Festival, which was a lot of fun. I didn't go on the Sunday because I hurt my leg was not doing well. My knee wasn't doing very well. And it was super muddy and super slippery, so I didn't bother. Absolutely still worth it at 280? I think it is. I think you're right, but I still don't know why it was nerfed again. It doesn't make much sense because the only thing I can think is because they nerfed the Crusader, Land Raider Crusader, or the Redeemer, the Flamer one. I'm wondering if they were worried that people would just go from the Land Raider to the Stormraven if it wasn't the same price-ish. But that doesn't make sense because you get the Assault Ramp and the Flamers are the main thing you want for the Crusader, or the Flamer Land Raider. And I think the Stormraven, like at 260, I think nerfing it the first time was fine because people were definitely taking it a lot, especially stuff like Dark Angels. Nerfing it second time made no sense because I think people stopped taking it. But hey. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of like the last points update. My Crusade list went from 2000 to 2000 Despite about 5 units changing price, it just so happened that it balanced out perfectly. Not so much anymore. I mean, the impulsors and repulsors could do the job, but I don't know. Hello, Ronnie. Hello, Paint Games. I don't know anything. And Ragnar, hello. At work, sneaking in the stream. Nice. Yeah, who needs work when you've got the stream? Hyped for the Champions of Russia. Yeah, we'll go through those as well. I saw that they changed it, but I didn't get it. I've also opened up Warhampedia because the one problem I have with the Dataslate, and obviously this is kind of because I don't know everything, is because it doesn't tell you what it's changed from. It's only telling you what it's changed to. I don't know what it was originally, so stuff like Admech changes, I have no idea. So we'll go through them. But right at the top, because I think some people were like, "Oh yeah, this is generally awful." I actually do think that the changes in general are pretty good and healthy for the game. A lot of good stuff cleared up, stuff made a bit simpler. Like 10th edition, I think, maybe controversially, I think 10th edition is pretty good. A lot better than 9th. In terms of like being a bit more streamlined, bit more sensible. And I think Games Workshop should be, hats off to Games Workshop actually making a lot of changes and not being afraid to really shuffle stuff around and kind of clean up some of those weird interactions. So I'm kind of, I kind of think it is good. But they did make my Stormraven more expensive, therefore it's all awful. Which I think is fair. I think whatever, what do you call it? Like, whatever benefits of that we can give Games Workshop, we're going to be instantly taken away because personally I am affected by the point exchanges. I actually bought basically a whole 2k Seraphon army at the place. Nice. And that means half some of the boxes need to be sent from storage because I don't have space for them. Wow. The Crusaders dropped 60 points. Some nice change to Aston Retardum as far as points goes. Yep. I think artillery, again, we'll get into this. Artillery getting nerfed and indirect getting nerfed is good. It's healthy for the game. Indirect is garbage. It sucks to play against. And if you can buff it up, it just becomes oppressive. So I think, and I think for again, I don't play Guard, but I think being able to move away from that and start to rebalance around now not having to stand still to get their thing, I think would be really good. Howdy, Electman, how's it going? I'm hoping that Tyranids will be able to do something. The changes to Tyranids look really good. I'm very afraid of the Crusher Stampede player in our Crusade. The Tyrant effects going from 2d6 to d6 plus 6 is insane. Watching this at 4 in the morning. Now, have you just woken up or have you not gone to bed yet? If it's the first one, good morning. If it's the second one, go to bed. More changes to World Eaters? Yeah. I don't know World Eaters that well. I think they've been doing okay, but I think they've had a little bit of help. Starting to look my Imperial Guard and AM Admech. Wait, no, and am start. Sorry, I'm just thing. I'm struggling to parse that sentence, but. Impulses connect transport characters, Dread Mob untouched, Orcs stay winning. Yes. Well, here's the thing with the Stormraven, right? That you really need to understand is no one used it as a flyer. Everyone used it in the hover mode. So it wasn't even that it was a flyer that's the problem. Like, the hover mode is just way better. Because if you do it a fly, you can't even bring it on till turn 2, and it has to come out the edge board edge. Or at least I don't think they were. I certainly wasn't. Used to couple change right after the code drop. Yeah, I mean that's kind of standard. I think it's fine. Because Sisters had the same thing, right? Where obviously they got a lot of points nerfs because a lot of stuff changed. I think that is fine. And that's just a print thing. I do think that Games Workshop should make the codexes a lot more just about like the art and the collecting. Obviously put the rules in there, but put more like fluff in there, more painting stuff in there. Make the codexes a thing that is like, a guide to the army, not just as the points, and then it doesn't matter what the points say in there. I think that's kind of the way they're going anyway. To make the codex still worth it. It's like when you get D&D books, right? Like, D&D books are good for the art and for just kind of having a flick through and the fluff. So, yeah, I think it's fine, and I think it's expected at this point. Artillery getting nerfed on hit is fine, but they also took away lethal hits from it too if they're shooting a direct. Yeah, I honestly think that's fine. Because I think the yeah, I think the change to that to basically means that hey, you can now move and use your army rule. It's way better, I think. Another Scream Raven content, keep it coming. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, I've got more videos on the way. Obviously, I have been away for a couple of holidays, back to back, basically. I have a small video hopefully coming out this week. It's like 2 minutes long. Very silly little video, and then I've got some bigger videos that I'm planning, and hopefully we'll be able to get around to those. Gonna have quite a busy. Well, I'll say I have a busy life because I'm cool and old. You know, visiting family and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah. Do you like the sign-up change personally? Yes, I think the sign-up changes are really good. Imperial Centers have 100% lethal hits. Yeah, that's scary because they got buffed as well in points. Not a fan of the strat changes. In what way? Obviously, that was about a minute ago that you said that, 2 minutes ago, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts. And maybe when we get around to it, we'll probably discuss it more. Change the respawning units once became is garbage. I think it's. Again, these are the kind of things. Well, I've talked about this before, where these are the kind of rules where restricting them makes the game healthier overall in the long run. Because if you have rules like this where you can respawn stuff, if an army can utilize, you know, getting free CP or using strats for free or a way to really quickly regenerate it, suddenly your 2,000 point army becomes 2,500 points. If you're not, and that becomes really unhealthy because then you're, as an opponent, you want to not kill them, which feels bad. So I think giving that more of a kind of once use just to get something back makes sense to me. Obviously, whether they balance everything around that change is remains to be seen, but I think it's one of those things where you take away some of these strong things that people could potentially abuse, and then build the game back up from there. The old Ruffelborn soldiers felt like chains of the army. Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, especially with what looks like to be a lot of kind of battle line and action-based stuff in the new cards, I think that's better. I suppose I haven't seen the changes. My hope is my crew haven't been done dirty. I don't think they have. I think the crew are fine. I don't think they've changed anything. Don't pay attention to meta watch and balances. I'm a collector. That's absolutely fair. I am much more of a player than a collector and painter, as you could probably tell for the fact that I've been playing, you know, started in, well, nearly 3 years ago now. And I don't have a 2,000 point army painted. And I haven't painted in weeks, so. I mean, I'm a collector, because I collect a bunch of stuff that I don't ever build, so I guess that's the way to do it. And I know a lot of people are just into the lore as well, which I'm not super into. I did finish one book, and I tried to find the second trilogy, but I couldn't. And I am looking forward to Space Marine 2, because that looks very fun. Pathfinder has all of their rules online for free, and it still has books. Yeah, that's the thing. I think Games Workshop, if Games Workshop made the books more of a collector item, which has a bunch of other cool stuff in there, they would probably still sell them. Yeah, Reinforcements Time getting taken out is good. In Crusade, there is a... because I had to play against this. There is a relic that allows you to use any stratagem for free once per turn. Which basically just became, against the guard player, just a free reinforcement. I think he reinforced his centaur like 3 times. It was just a pain in the ass. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I use Warhammer all the time as well. I bought the Space Marine Codex. I haven't bought any other codex. I'll probably buy the Drukhari and the Thousand Suns when they come out. But Warhammer is really good. Just they made us buy these books and within the week needs to change. But the thing is with the books, right, is that the books have so much more information than just the points, which is my point. No pun intended. Is that the books have a lot of other useful content in there. Fluff and painting guides and cool pictures and some information about, like, just, you know, that kind of thing. And I think leaning into that and then leaving the points on online is good. Land Raider redeeming being 285 is ridiculous. Yeah, although I think they were being taken a lot. And to be fair, the Flamer's strong. I think it is a bit much. And this is the thing. I think Space Marine's kind of got the bad end of the stick here. And again, that's just I'm a Space Marine player. Zangals have not been affected. Thousand Suns had a lot of changes. But they haven't been affected. I think Guard are in a good spot after changes, some tweaks for sure. Yeah, the pivot movement rules are also interesting. I think... Sorry. Personally love the fact that they gave my knights the ability to walk through walls. Yeah, we discussed that. That's so cool. Boltgun DSC. I should play Boltgun. Hey, Crackduck. Why am I mad? They nerfed the Stormraven, and that makes me upset. By, like, literally all the other changes I think are okay, but they specifically nerfed the one thing I like to use, and therefore Games Workshop is garbage, and I hate them. Bodies display, what the hell had happened to us? I don't think I think bodies are alright at the moment. How do the creation rules work for Space Marines? Or well for generic chat? I think Dark Angels have their own Crusade rules, maybe. Or they're like attached onto the Crusade stuff in the Space Marine Codex. I don't know actually. Now I've become reflective because my group hasn't been in the mood to play when they can play a war game with better rules. That's fair. I still enjoy 40k. People often say, "Oh, try one-page rules," and I've played one-page rules. It's great. But it's different enough to Warhammer 40k that I can play both. Obviously, if I ever get time to play games at all. The same with Age of Sigmar, right? So, oh, people are going, I'm not going to play 40k, I'm going to play Age of Sigmar. You can play both. Both are fine. Because you don't have to play it all the time. Yeah, I think even more pictures and guys in the codex makes sense. Fairly happy with the Admech changes. I will go through those and see, because I don't know Admech that well, unfortunately. It's the old black, white, grim, dark art in the books. I have some of those books, and they are very cool. Yeah, I think Casa King got buffed again, maybe. By the way, I'm sure you've all obviously seen Crackduck, seeing as he has massively overtaken everyone in subscribers. It is very, very popular. I saw a comment which I liked. Someone described Crackduck as Paul is bad at stuff, but not insane, which is great. He does a lot of lore videos, so go follow Crackduck if you're not. And shout out as well. I might as well just shout out to a bunch of people that you can go follow, seeing as there are people here. Christian von Carmian, he's been shouted out by a couple of people who are way better than me. But he's just recently hit 10k, so congratulations to him. You should go follow him if you want to learn about... Hey, look, GC the Cults and Adeptus Sororitas just came out. Probably a lot of information over there if you want to play those. If you want to get into if you want some 3D prints, because 3D printing is cool, you should go to alchemistmodels.com as well. Alchemist Models on YouTube as well. Go follow him and give him some love. Great painting tutorials for speed paints, and also got a shop. So go follow him as well. Who else? I'm sure there's a bunch of other people. Yeah, all very cool people, and yeah. And again, congratulations as well to obviously Crackduck getting over 30k subscribers now. He recently hit 20k, so I'm also doing well. Just kind of just throwing shit at the wall. Strange description, I'm also been said. Oh well, apparently less insane than me. I think it's my proclivity to overextend might be the change. Scarab Cult's down, yes, as is the Mutalith Vortex piece, which is mad to me. The Mutalith Vortex piece going down in points. Crazy. Books made leaks half an year in advance. Yeah, exactly. Like, the print is very, very early. Finished building my Gladiator, and the next day the Metawatch came out. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I did pretty much similar with my Stormraven. I started using the Stormraven, then it got popular, then it got nerfed. Good day, why am I mad? The Stormraven. Mace, basically. 20k, that's half 40k, exactly. That's some maths. I don't think you can play GC Cults or Sisters as you need the Codex, which isn't out for 2 days. Oh yeah, it's not actually out yet, is it? Well, you can... there's enough information out there, you can force and try it. Not played 40k since 8th, getting stomped by Death Guard army that had Voltairean, 2-wing Demon Prince and Renegade. Not fun game. I never played 8th, 9th. I started in 9th. 10th is good. I am enjoying 10th. It feels fun to play. As an infantry and artillery guard player, these changes heard. Good. Artillery sucks. And I'm not just salty because I bought Desolators, and before I could even build them, they were nerfed into the ground. Currently writing the last session to your D&D campaign. Nice. Our D&D campaign recently got to a milestone, which is good. So, or into like a story point, which is good. Deathwatch, I don't need buffs as much as Admech did, and they actually got was about lots of time. Yeah, Deathwatch I think is a weird one. Bit late for Riptor GC to Cult Combat Patrol. Yeah, I mean the new one's got bikers and stuff in it. It kind of looks cool. Right, let's. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit again, just to. There's a nice little background Campaign's going for a year and a half, and I'll be happy to have it done. I mean, a year and a half's good. Yeah, I've had campaigns go that long, which have mostly unceremoniously ended because I killed the party. Well, one did. The other one I actually won, but it wasn't as long. You can sort of nice for half the points. Yeah. Sold your T'au for Gundams. You could get a lot of Gundams for T'au. This is the other thing. Like, yeah, like I think I'm just in a fortunate position where I can afford to be a Gundam and a Warhammer collector. I say that I haven't got actually that many Gundams. Yeah, Gundams are very cool as well. And also, speaking of D&D, they are releasing in September, I think it is, the new like 2024 5th edition, which looks cool. So I'm happy with that. Just brought 5 Primaris Dreadnoughts to prepare for Iron Storm. Ooh, that's unfortunate. I think they'll still be good. And to be fair, having 5 Primaris Dreadnoughts is going to be really useful because they're just very, very good. Even with Iron Storm being nerfed, I think they'll still find play. So they're not wasted, and also they're fun to build and paint and stuff. Although I say that I've only built 1 Primaris Dreadnought, or painted 1 Primaris Dreadnought. Yeah, and also in September, obviously Space Marine. I will be. Hopefully, people will be interested. I will be playing Space Marine 2 on stream in September as well, which will be fun. Yeah, right. Let's go through. I think it's this one. Is that going to pop up? That one? Hey, there we go. Hey. So, balanced data slate. We're just going to go through this. We'll chat. Just if you have any questions, comments, obviously just yell them out. This isn't a democracy. If you really want to be fancy and get your voice heard, you can do Superchats for text to speech, but don't bother. I mostly read everything, but we'll see. Chrysler 5-star Salamanders. Yeah, that is unfortunate. I mean, Salamanders I think are pretty good. Genius Consults is fine for people who already have Genius Consults need to fill out 2 locate list, but for new players, a bad start. Yeah, that similar with the Sisters one. Although the Sisters one was weird because it always had like pieces. It always felt like you needed like a couple of them because it had like a weird number of like arcoflagellants, like 1 penitent engine or something. The newer one looks a lot more solid, if not a little light on stuff. So in 2 months, 10 days September. Yeah, time is time. Something I don't think will be good is Synoptic Tomb Sentinel because they don't exist anymore. That's unfortunate. Also having an Ironclad in my Arandron Overlord 1k list. Sure. I don't really know what they do or how they work, but they sound cool. There was a really cool Caradron Overlords like display Warhammer World. Drop us still 70 points? Maybe. We can find out. As a non-Space Marine player, are the Ironstorm nerfs that bad? I don't know either. I'm not an Ironstorm player, but I think probably because instead of being able to have like 3 vehicles within that aura, you can only have 1, and that was a big part of their thing. Looking forward to running the green tide I've been building since 3rd edition as soon as they stop trying to take my house. As the Count stops trying to take my house, yeah. Don't look at the balanced data slate if you're into green tide. I'd like to yell out I'm gay, but chat won't notice. Unfortunately. I saw you. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Counter, yeah. I thought it meant I didn't assume it meant like the Count, like Count Dracula, or like the Count from Sesame Street. I assumed it meant County. So 480 point flying tank. Right, here's a question for people who play Age of Sigmar. Obviously in 40k it's a bit of a dick move, Rob, to bring some big units into 1k point games because of how skewy it can be. And if you just don't have the anti-tank, it just fails. Which is why 1k game points are a bit weird. I don't know if that's a save for Age of Sigmar. Maybe it is. Maybe that 480 point tank can be very, very difficult to take out. But again, there's a lot of big monsters in Age of Sigmar that I figure at 1k points you still use them. So many changes. Imagine being a new player, picking up the book, learning for ultimate. This is the thing, Brian. It's like if you're a new player, you're gonna be learning. I honestly think, because I did this with Age of Sigmar, you would cut half the book and just learn from that instead, and then slowly introduce stuff. And yeah, obviously it sucks to have to then unlearn a bunch of stuff. But I think if you're a new player, you don't need to worry about it. You just need to play, because you're going to make mistakes regardless. I still make a ton of mistakes and forget a ton of stuff. So you're going to make a ton of mistakes, and then you're slowly going to be able to get to the point where you'll then learn everything. And I think it's one of those things, and again, this is kind of like a modern gamer thing, where it's like, you want to try and get everything, all the information as soon as possible. It is not necessary. Should I spend money that text speech that says Alexa orders? I almost said that out loud. You always got me for free. Isn't about winning, it's about putting 200 models aboard as a flex and taking a 20-minute movement phase. Now, if you're taking 20-minute movement phases for your green tide, that's quick. that's speed running. In Sigmar, it's more reasonable. Can't wait to not be Overwatch during movement phase charged by flamers anymore. Yeah. In Age Sigmar has on the ability to bond the stats. That's fair. Bang-ons include some big monsters and newcomers don't have a choice. Yes, I think with Age of Sigmar it sounds a bit better. Even at 1500 points, I don't like bringing big stuff. I'm a third of my army, one model, kind of meh. Yeah. Yeah, I struggle with that with the Stormraven in a 1500 point game, where once it died, I kind of lost a lot. It's weird, it's tricky to balance. I brought the Indominus and Leviathan box and I'm trying to figure out which space from each chapter to roll with. Lean towards Dark Angels, some cool 3D printable as a OP still. Yeah, Dark Angels are very cool. And they have a lot of extra stuff you can do, so maybe go Dark Angels. And if you like the look, then great. Just finished building enough Admech to run 2K. Nice. Happy Admech noises. Well, there you go. And more Hammerfall bunkers. Right. So. 2,400 points. Yeah, like, I mean, I think one thing people were complaining about with Admech were you had to get so much stuff. And it was so many models for the points. But it's at least a bit better now. And at least got options. 2,400 points is still nice to have because it's got options. So, right. Balanced data slate. Let's talk about it. 23 minutes into the stream. So, stratagem CP cost. Rules and ability to target a unit from your army with a stratagem for 0 CP that does not specify the name. Instead, reduce CP by 1. The model has a rule that would, once per battle, increase the CP cost. That rule is replaced with the following. Which is, each time your opponent targets a unit with a stratagem. So these are both interesting. Let's go one by one. The first bit here, so they've taken out the battle tactic. The battle tactic specification. Good. It was stupid and it was annoying, and if they wanted to keep it that way, they should have made battle tactics as a stratagem separate. But instead of reducing to 0 CP, you just reduce it by 1. So 2 CP things can't become 0 CP, they have to become 1 CP, which is fine. This one is interesting as well. So obviously, Drukhari have this. The thing that's interesting is each time your opponent targets a unit of stratagem, if that unit's within 12 inches, increases the use of that stratagem by 1. That's very scary. It's very, very different. But it's very scary. Because if you let's say you have 3 Archons in a Drukhari list, anything within 12 inches, you're paying an extra CP to do anything. That's a really good way to control the board and control the CP usage. That's a very cool change, and I'm interested to see where this goes. I think this could be interesting. Like vecting a stratagem is cool, but I think this is going to be more interesting. Plus, the rule allow players to use a stratagem even if they had already targeted another unit with a stratagem. Save phase could only accept if you use words. Let's read that one again and try not to fail at words. Parts of a rule that allow a player to use a stratagem, even if they have already targeted another unit with that stratagem in the same phase, can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified. I.e., you can't, like, for these captain rights, it says, like, even if it's been used in the same phase or whatever, you can't do that anymore. It has to be a different stratagem. It's just going to be any stratagem. A stratagem is to 1 use per player turn, Fire Overwatch, per battle, round up per battle. Such parts of the rule that can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified. There we go, yeah. Space Marine says once per battle, 1 unit from your army. This ability to give target with a stratagem of 0. This ability does not specify the name. The part of the ability modifies and yeah. Yeah, it's once per battle round, 1 unit from your army with this ability you can use when it's target stratagem. If it does, reduce the cost. Yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't that change nerf assassins hard since it costs more to pop them up and down? I don't know about Caladius assassins. Hey, I loaded this up for this exact reason. What are they? They're agents of Imperial, right? Or Calidus assassin. A Calidus assassin. What is this thing? Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem in the model. In the opponent's turn, if that model is not within engaged range of any units. I don't think it does. I think these are two separate things. What it basically is, instead of this Reign of Confusion thing, what it is essentially is any unit in your opponent that is within 12 inches of this assassin has to spend an extra CP to use a stratagem. On any stratagem. And that's every time. That's not once per battle or once per turn. So it's a big difference. And I don't think it changes the way they jump up and down. No, I don't think the jumping up and down interacts with the CP. And also with stratagems. If it has an effect that says the target can only be selected as a target at range attackers with 12, cannot be targeted. That effect is changed. Wait. If a stratagem has an effect that says the target unit can only be selected as a target of a range attack if that model is within 12 inches or cannot be targeted, that effect is changed to say 18. Okay, so basically any of these stratagems that are 12 in, like, you can't be attacked outside of 12 inches now at 18 inches. So it's a nerf to those kind of things. I don't know why, but sure. And if you're this is the big one. So lone OP stratagems now instead of 18 inches. Yes, yeah, lone op stratagem specifically, but not lone operative itself. That's still 12. Yeah, pseudo lone op. Yeah, so if stratagem has an effect of adding a new unit, like join the hunt hunting waves or reinforcements, you can only use it once per battle. I think this is good. Mostly because it sucks to play against. But also I think this is, again, it's one of those things which is healthy for the game overall. Because if you can get to a point where you can abuse this, it gets out of control. And it kind of makes it so you have to you can't over buff or kind of give make things better on their own if there's the possibility of bringing them back over and over again. So overall, this is all the kind of stratagem stuff. I think that's it. I think it's decent changes. I think this cleans up a lot of stuff because the battle tactic, like having to learn what a battle tactic is annoying. So that cleans up all this. It really kind of cleans up the, right, you can only use the stratagems twice per phase, or per turn, or per battle, if you have it named. That's fine. That's all good. That's all gravy. Enjoy that. I don't know why this has changed. Maybe there was a problem. Maybe there was a bunch of stuff that was really getting, pseudo lone operative was really bad. I don't know why. But sure. I mean, that's fine. I guess it stops you getting too close and then not being able to target. Because getting within 12 inches and then not being able to target and then just charging in. But yeah, this one, difficult. But I think this is better. Reanimator stratagems got nerfed big time too. Just make them all consistent, not varying ranges. Ah, that's fair enough. I didn't realize there were varied ranges, so makes sense there. I'm going to be talking a lot, so I'm going to take a drink very quickly. Right. Faction rules. So these are just faction rule changes. Adeptus Sororitas, none. Fair. They've just had a codex. Custodes. So this is where I'm going to load up here and just go to... Maybe they have it. Custodes. Cool. Now I can actually work out what's going on. Martial Master... So it's Shield Host Attachment, which is... Yeah, right. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the bullet points below. If you do, until the start of the next round, that bullet point's effects apply. And it used to say, once per battle, at the start of the battle round, you can use Martial Mastery. If you do, until the start of the next battle round, each time a model with Martial Guitar makes a melee attack, successful crit on a 5, and improve armor pen characteristics on melee weapons. So instead of it being once per battle, it's now at the start of the battle round, the start of each battle round, you can select one of them. So you have, instead of you having both of these once per battle, you can have one of these every round. That's a big change. Super CP are going to get 2 to 3 uses per game. There's a lot of ways to get CP in Guard, especially with, as far as I know, with Lord Solar, you can get CP pretty quick, and discarding cards and stuff. Obviously, they've changed it now, so you can only get 3 CP per battle round, like max. But I think it is better to do it this way, like have that as a back pocket thing to allow you to, get one thing back. Because even once, getting a big 20 blob of something is really good. Being able to do that over and over again is unhealthy for the game. I don't know how long average WAPD takes. It takes a little while normally. I do emotionally prefer myself to accept Raven Guard, let alone any of the Lord chapter isn't getting any proper buffs. Yeah. That's why I've got Screaming Ravens. Make your own detachment. So yeah, that's a big buff. And Auric Champions. Here we go. Change 2. At the start of the command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in a character unit from your army makes an attack that targets the enemy, add 1 to the wound roll. And it used to be, at the start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of your next command phase, each character model yes, so essentially it's a model in a character unit. So I guess when you attach a character to a unit, it becomes better. So abbreviate CP command point. People, CP is fine. People have been saying CP for other things all the time. It's fine. It's you know the context. You're fine. So these are good. These are good changes. Rumors getting Death Company are getting revamped. Very interesting. Right, Admech. Admech players help me because there's a lot of changes. I think those 2 changes to Custodians are pretty good. This is way short on combat patrol to combat. I just say combat patrol. It's just quicker. Right, Mechanicus. So, army rule. We're going to start with the army rule. So currently it's the start of the battle round, you select one of the Doctriners. Till the end of the battle round, that Doctriner is active. So it's either ranged weapons have heavy, and each time a ranged attack targets a unit wasn't the armor pen, or they have assault, and if the target of the attack is within your opponent's deployment zone, improve the AP. Oh, sorry, if it's within your... Okay, so what is it now? So that Protector Imperative, which is the first one, still has the same thing, but it also improves the ballistic skill characters of ranged weapons, which is crazy. So basically, your entire army gets increased ballistic skill. Damn. And each time a melee attack targets this unit, if this unit has the battle line keyword or is within 6 inches of one or more friendly battle line units, subtract 1 with a hit roll. Which is instead of instead of it being each time a ranged attack targets this unit, and it's within your deployment zone, you worsen the AP. It's -1 to hit for melee attacks for battle line and things close to battle line. That's a big buff. And yeah, the other one is basically just melee, so weapon skill improvement, and then it's the opposite of this. So It's like this unit attacks something with battle line or it's close to battle line. Improve the AP bar. Good. Nice changes. Add the faction. Be able to use the actual army rule to these things. Sure. Move character exchange to 8. What it used to be. Alright, call. Used to be 6, now it's 8. Oh, fine. Mantra Discipline. Change to Mantra Discipline. This model has a battle line. Mantra of Discipline? Where is it? Oh, yeah. And, yeah. So basically, this is now a... You also get battle line if you're in the Mantra Discipline, which helps with some of this stuff down here. Which is cool. Assault also improves the AP of all weapons by 1. Not just melee. Come on, it makes it attack. Oh yeah, an attack. Yes, I thought it was a melee. But you're right. So this is only melee, but this is actually any attack. That's interesting. That is good. So Assault can make it so trigger the battle line combat. Yeah, very, very cool. So everything is BS3 with heavy. Yep, that's good. Basically means if you don't move, you have BS2, right? That's crazy. Yeah, you basically choose. Yeah, but you're basically saying, do you want to go forward and attack, or do you want to stand still and shoot? Which I think is good. Change the right. Iron Starry, Battle Starry. Used to be sustained hits 1. Okay. Okay. So they used to be twin linked. And now they are double the number of attacks, but only sustained hits. Fine. It makes them a bit more different to the standard like twin link stuff. It means they're not rerolling their wounds anymore, but I mean these will be BS2 if you're standing still with them and get 2 attacks, and sustained hits works better with this, so that's fair. I think it's better than twin linked, yeah. Especially because like you're probably rolling pretty not needing to roll very high with some stuff like this, so strength 12 anyway, exactly. The Scorpius Disintegrator. What's changed? The Thermorite Cannon. Okay, it's just gained an extra... Yeah, just D6 plus 1, so it's a bit more... you know, you're always going to be doing 2 damage, which is fine. And then the Caesarian Infiltrators... Gain an attack, is it? Yeah, they've just gained an attack on the power weapon and the taser goad. Fine. Yeah, I guess these are buffs as well. Here. Caesarian Rust Stalkers. What was it on? The Transonic Blade, all of them. 4, yeah, 554 and 555. Yeah, so these are all buffs. Very, very cool. Change the Daedalus Missile Launcher to the... this one hasn't got any red on it. Daedalus Missile Launcher? What was this on, sorry? The Dunecrawler. Dev Wounds Precision 5 attack siege. Yeah, that's scary. So what's changed? Daedalus Missile Launcher. It was 1, 4, 10... Oh, it's 2. So this here should be highlighted red. So that's an error on Games Workshop's part. And then everything else makes sense. Neutron laser. Yeah, everything's just got like a plus 1 here and there. So that's pretty good. Admech, I think, looking good. I think that's a good... These changes to the army rule, that's pretty solid. I would say that's Admech eating good. Obviously, we'll see the points nerfs later. And as people have said, it's like, you know, it's changed essentially 400 points either way, but hey-ho. Aeldari. So obviously some of these are the twin Onega. Foster Blaster tripled in attacks. Wow. I don't know, you don't know that, man. Hey, I can do this. I don't know if that worked. Yes, I'm angry now. I can look mad. But by saying I'm mad, it made you click the video, so gotcha. Right. Aeldari, so yeah, some of these, I think this has been changed a while ago. So obviously the way the balanced dataslate works is it basically puts everything in there that's already been in there. So this was already there. Once per turn, just to make a hit win roll through the bearer. Sure. What did it used to be? Fate Messenger. What did that used to look like? Once per turn. Oh, this might have already been changed. Okay, because it already says the bearer there. Phantasm Stratagem. I think. Yeah, 1 Aeldari infantry. Yeah. So this is all stuff that has been nerfed before. Yeah, that's been nerfed before. I think this is all stuff that's been nerfed before. Yeah, I remember the Incarn was changed. So that's fine. Agency Imperium. I think this was also already changed. Maybe. Exaction Squad. I think this was already a thing that's been changed because you had to take 10. Ashram Minitarum. I just want to use 3 Brutals and 10 Jesus and everything. Be the change you want to see in the world. Sisters Point nerf hurt went from 1995 to 2240. I think that's probably because of the... It looks like Sisters were really, really strong. Which is probably why they were changed. Officer models, basically, yeah, so this is a change that has already happened as well. About jumping out. I wish they'd clarified this. It can issue orders. How many orders it can issue. Like, you shouldn't be able to do it both in and out of the transport, basically. Born soldiers, this is the big change as well. So rather than it being you get lethal hits if you remain stationary, you get regiment units, range attacks against visible units get lethal hits, and squadron visible gets once a vehicle get lethal hits. No moving. If it's new in the state, that has plus next to it. Thank you. That's very useful information. Very, very useful information. And yes, that makes sense. Great news. Thank you for putting that out. Bear in mind, the other thing this gives you is Overwatch potential, because previously, because remaining stationary is only on your turn, you would not get ball soldiers with Overwatch. Now you can, because it is just ranged attack. So, pretty good. And the fact that it doesn't do it against indirect is good, because utterly bad. This is a change we also see in Space Marines. They've upped the number of capacity for transports. This is mostly for character stuff, so you can have like 6 Blade Guard and a Blade Guard Captain. And then, so here's the thing: I could swap out a Stormraven for a Repulsor and save 100 points, and it's like tougher. The only thing it doesn't get is it can't fly and maybe less firepower, but maybe not. And it can't transport a Dreadnought. But 100 points cheaper. But I would have to buy one. I don't really want to buy one, so I just wish this said 21, so I could take 6 Centurions in one. No, 18 it used to be. 18 times 3, so 6 times 3. This isn't new. The Super Heavy Walker stuff. This is fun. So it can move through models and sections of terrain that are 4 inches or less, and when doing so, it can move within engagement range but can't end moving in engagement range. But it can also move through sections of terrain features that are more than 4 inches height. But if it does after it has moved, roll a d6 on a 1, it gets battle shocked. So basically, you can now move through anything as a Titanic with Super Heavy Walker, but you might stub your toe and go, my toe, and that is battle shock. But how cool is that? You no longer have to, like, the thing with knights was always having to like try and walk them around like big bits of terrain. Now you just beeline straight through it. Transporting a Dreadnought, what is this, the one usable airplane? I know, and they nerfed it. Especially Mono Knights and other ones, you don't care about them being battle shocked. That's true. Although they do have high OC, so being battle shocked isn't the worst. Being battle shocked isn't like nothing, but it is certainly very, very useful. Like having just a knight be able to be in the back pocket, just running through. I'm sorry your thumbnail. Sorry your memes died for Iron Storm Sins. Thank you. That means a lot. And hi, Mr. Sharpspoon. How's it going? Yeah, it sucks, but we'll get through it. I still think it's worth taking a Stormraven just for the swag. Now every big knight is -2 movement. Yeah, we'll get to that as well. I think the movement stuff is way, way better. Because of the way things rotated, like, you were probably losing a lot more than that. Just came in wondering what title is. I'm mad Stormraven. But I got you to click on the video to ask, so more clicks. So make sure to like. If you clicked on this video to find out why I'm mad, you have to like the video. It doesn't do anything. But I feel like it's the finer thing a YouTuber has to say to kind of feel like they're doing something. So, absolutely gotcha. Great news. Thank you, Rock Brawny. At least other Marines got buffed? Yeah. Chaos, what is this? In a fight phase, this unit destroyed one more enemy units this phase and is not within engagement range. You can remove it. That's interesting. What was that before? Oh, this might not be updated. I don't think this has been updated since... With the... No. So this might be wrong. Let's have a look at what they say at Warp Towns. Yeah, it's a different thing, so obviously not been changed on Warhampedia. But I assume this just didn't used to be here at all. So basically it was just the Shrike thing of if this not within a gauge range or anything, you can go back up. But now you have to actually kill something. Interesting change. I'm not sure why that was that a problem, especially because I think Chaos Space we've got a lot of points nerfs anyway. Interesting. Yeah, you can put Primaris Guides with a character in Impulsor, which is really useful. Chaos Demons. I don't know Chaos Demons very well, but I think this is a big buff. So one enemy units within your army's Shadow of Chaos, or within 6 inches of one or more of big boys, basically. Each time the unit takes a battle shock test, subtract 1 for the test. If it's failed, they suffer mortal wounds. And Demonic Pact. Let's just go open the old Chaos Demons. So yeah, it used to be... So yeah, it's Deployment Zone. No Man's Land. And opponents if you control stuff. And now it's also... within big boys. Within range of big boys as well. Addition featurely... So Demonic Pact, which is... this. Wait, this hasn't got a plus next to it. Move on. We already know that one. Warp Rifts. Which is here. So each time unit from armor set up in the battlefield using Deep Strike ability, it can be set up wholly within your... If it is set up wholly within your Shadow of Chaos, it can be set anywhere that was 6 inches rather than 9. And now it is also not only your Shadow of Chaos, but also these big boys. If it shares the same keyword. That's huge, right? As in buying a rule book or codex and having so many rule changes, I think it's fine. I don't see that as being a problem. Because, like, the core rules and everything are online already. And the book is nice because it's got nice pictures and fluff and stuff in it. And if their justification for not changing the game was because it had been printed, the game would be in a worse state because they would never do any changes. So I think it's fine. They had to buff demons because nerdlings can't do actions anymore. Yes, true. But nerdlings would be taking it everywhere. Only for the same God Line unit. Yeah, I think that's good. Especially I think you can take one Great Demon in 1000 book games and Demonic Pact. Can you not take one Great Demon in a 1000 book game? Oh, with Demonic Pact, gotcha. Right, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think otherwise you'd just be like, it's basically half demons. Well, a friendly... Yeah, so this is basically just kind of clearing up that you're in Shadow of the Warp for the big boys. Cool. So it basically allows you to be... to get your stuff if you're next to your big lads. I think, as someone mentioned, Be'lakor is, like... Yeah. Basically, Be'lakor is Shadow of the Chaos, so you would have to take him to be able to do anything. But now all of your big demons do that, which is good. I think that's cool. Yes, this does mean demons will stop suffering now because everyone was using Nurglings. Dark Angels. In your command phase, select one unit from your army, and they have +1 objective control on models. That used to be you just couldn't go below OC0, right? Where's Space Range? Is that what that used to be? No filter and Angels. If it's gonna load, there we go. Where we at? Yeah. Whilst unit for your army is battle shock. Oh right, okay. So it's basically one of your battle shocks change your thing to 1 instead of 0, and now it's just you get 1 extra objective control. Wait, I don't have to call it Codex Be'lakor anymore. Apparently not. You can call it Codex Big Boys. So that's a change. I think this is useful because of all the changes to how actions are done with OC0. So Battle Shock still is effective against Dark Angels, but they can also bully you off objectives. Again, healthy change, I think. In a circle. Select command phase, select one objective marker. To a next command phase, the objective marker is your vowed objective. Each time a Deathwing unit makes attack the target within range of your vowed marker, have +1 to wound, and now it is. Select one of the following. Select one objective marker until the start of your next movement phase. The objective marker is your vowed marker. And you get +1 to wound. So still, that's still there. The defensive footing thing is still there, which is this bit. Or you can select an objective you don't control until the start of your next movement phase. Okay. At the start of your movement phase, each of those objective markers is... Each of those objectives are one of your vowed. The rule refers to a unit or model being within range of your vowed. The rule takes effect if your model unit within... Each time in our... Alright, so this is basically either protect or attack. So it's basically this, but on anything you don't control. But obviously, as soon as you control it, it stops being the case. So I think that's good. Yeah. Oh, is it... You get an additional... Dark Angel rule is an additional paragraph. Oh. Oh, that's... Okay, so you still get the thing with Battle Shock, but you can also do this. I see. I didn't see it said additional. They should bold that, because I'm bad. That's interesting. And then this one is basically just select any objective markers you don't control, and they're vowed, which seems way better. Unless you control them all, obviously, but... It keeps invalid. Oh, yeah, that's true. It keeps invalid to the next movement phase. So that is really good. That's really strong. And then some changes to the weapons. Cool. Yeah. Sure, that's fine. Death Guard. So these aren't changed. This is obviously something to do with the grenade. So once per battle round, you can target one unit for armor with this ability with the grenade strat. So basically, it's just changing the way the stratagems work based on what the stratagem previously. Base absolution change is massive. Deathwing Knights. What did the Mace of Absolution do before? Not a whole lot. It's now an extra AP and it's also anti-vehicle, anti-monster. That's cool. Power weapon is D2 instead of D1. Very nice. And Inner Circle Companions. How... An extra attack on the sweep. And -2 AP. They're all buffs. Yeah, Biolog's doing a second grenade. Essentially, you can use You can basically just get a free grenade rather than getting extra grenades, which I think is fine. These are all the same bolt changes, nothing new there. This is all nothing new here. I would have liked to see Hellions be able to do some more stuff, but that's fine. Obviously nothing for G-Stealers. This is obviously so this is one of the problems was you got to just snipe lone operatives with this, and it's the same for Doombolt later on. This is a fine change. This is nothing new, but this I think is a worth change. Again, makes it healthier. This was already changed. They'd already added this. They added this with the Sky Splitter, being able to go with Incubi. Same with this. Yeah, the Archon's getting the 12-inch +1 cost aura. I think you see taking 3 Archons. I mean, you were taking a couple of Archons anyway, but getting 3 Archons and just bothering people, especially because you could, because there's a stratagem in there, or not a stratagem. There's an upgrade, which I think allows you to be untargetable if you're next to a vehicle. Is it an upgrade, or is it a strat? Oh yeah, this. Whilst you hold within 6 inches of friendly transport, you have benefits cover and stealth, so you can be really well protected. Now, if only the Archon got a new model, I have so many Archons because they're so easy to kit bash. If you want a new Archon model, there's so many ways to make your own. It's so fun because everything could be an Archon. I think I have about 4. Time to start complaining about GW. I think GW did fine. I'm just mad about the Stormraven. So that is cool. This is the same as the other one. The Stormraven, 23rd Spade. Stormraven was nerfed. They increased its points value again. But that's nothing changed there. Nothing changed here. This is not like a plus. This is all the same. You can't hyperphase monsters. Okay, I don't know how many things are monsters, but sure. The green side got nerfed, I believe. So it's now, I think it used to be a 5 up, and now it's 6 up. I think 6 up, 5 up, or I don't know if they've actually got the Orc one. Maybe they do. Oh, they do. Nice. Yeah, 5 up in Vun. It contains 10 or more reroll savings of 1. But now it's 6 up and 10 or more is 5 up. So you lose the reroll. Personally, I'm upset with not seeing the amount of grenades on Hearthguard not get dropped. D6 per model is a lot. So, I've seen all the Tyranid models now. Will it give me mine? No, I've got plans for those at some point, I'm sure. And you go down to 60. Yeah, I think this is okay, sure. Till the end of the phase, each time you declare charge, add 1 to the charge roll, and you can recharge the charge roll. What was this called? Was it a strat? Yeah, Titan Muscle. Add the current battle round number to the charge roll. I mean, yeah. I don't like that change. This is a fun. This is a fairly unique and fun thing. Yes, you're potentially getting +5 to charge. But if you're at round 5, I mean, you're probably not going to need it. I mean, again, I guess it's a healthy change because you could do some weird stuff with like a +5 charge. But it's kind of a bit more boring, which is a shame. But it's one of those healthy things. Titan rosters were broken in part because of weird boys. Yeah, true. Anything more than +2 is already insane. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely think this could have been capped at 3 or 2 or something, but you know what? I think this is fine. It's still pretty good. Adding 1 to charge rolls and re-rolling the charge is still good. Acceptable. Acceptable. Go get him, champ. What was this? After roll d6, each one you remove that. You can move 6. Okay, so rather than it being you can just move straight 6s, you can re-roll the d6. Okay, that's also fine. Again, 6-inch movement shenanigans with like big blobs like that is pretty good. So, yeah, okay, and that's Crumpin. Crumpin time. That's I think used to be a 4-up. That's a fine change. Right, the Ironstorm Spearhead. Delete aura, and instead it's selected a vehicle that gets lethal hits. Or eligible to shoot in a turn which felt like and advanced. These are the problems. So as an aura, you could essentially have like if you have 2 Tech Marines, or 1 Tech Marine and 1 other any other Adeptus Astartes, and they became a 6-inch bubble of essentially lethal hits, advance, and charge, which I can see why it was a big problem. Mercy is weakness. I don't know what that is. Give me the information of what Mercy is weakness is. Yeah, any death ball like that is a problem, and kind of needs to be undeathballed. No filter. Here we go. Oh, what? What was it? This Mercy is weakness. What's that? Till the end of the phase, each target model in your unit that targets a unit below starting strength gets sustained 1, and crits off. Yeah, so this with 1 CP, this became sustained lethals of 5+, and you can advance. Therefore, was double Stormraven. Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. With a Stormraven. Oh, with 24 bolter shots, which are sustained lethals on 5s. Okay, I can see why they did that. Damn you, Iron Storm. This is the old change. And then this is changed from above. So 7 tactics, 14 adeptus, Astartes infantry. Sure. Repulsors seem pretty good, but meh. Right, Space Wolves. I never understood the Space Wolves chapter thing because I just didn't. So what is it currently? Obviously, blah 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 blah. So at the end of each player's turn, you can select one of the sagas listed below. If the saga was completed by your army during that battle round, you gain the benefit to the end of battle. So at the end of each player's turn, if one or more character models was destroyed, or destroyed one or more enemy character model, you get sustained hits 1 for melee weapons. And this is control 1 or more rejected marking deployment zone. And a character model from your army is within that, you get objective control +1. If a character, if one or more character models from your army was reduced to below half of their starting number of wounds, but were not destroyed, you get a feel of 6 up. And if a character model from your army destroyed a monster or vehicle, you get lethal hits. And it now is, at the start of the first battle round, select one of the sagas. That saga is considered to be completed. And all Adeptus Astartes models gain the benefit. At the end of each player's turn, you can select one saga, excluding the saga selected. And if that saga was completed, you gain it. During that turn. So that's already changed there. So basically you get one saga for free. Apart from the opponent's deployment zone one, which makes sense. That's fine, yeah. So basically you get one saga for free. Which is good. That's fine. They were basically impossible to get on time. Now you get to pick one. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, one saga for free at the start seems really cool. Which one would you take? Melee weapons sustained hits 1. You obviously can't take this one. 6 up Feel No Pain? Would be pretty good at the start. No, actually, no. Or yeah, I don't know. Whichever one would be hardest to complete, I guess. That one probably isn't that difficult to do. This is probably the most difficult one to do. Have your character model kill an enemy model. An enemy character? You're probably not doing that till later. You could probably kill a monster or vehicle pretty early. I don't know. No, the strats all get a bonus for having a saga complete. Ah. So you'd want to choose one. Yeah, so it's like if a saga, the bet. Yeah. So you choose one which you want to then do one of these things. That makes it more interesting. That's cool. Let's start crying about Deathwatch. Rip Deathwatch. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you haven't got the ability to do this one, you can take it. And you choose the one that wants to mostly interact with your stratagem, so that's cool. No change of town, fine. 1,000 Suns, right. Each time you use a ritual, select 1,000 Suns Psycho model from your army, excluding models that have already been selected for this rule of the turn. Now, I always thought that was how it was played. And I only now realised that I could have been using the same character for every single site, for every single ritual. I've always played it that each sorcerer has one cabal, has one. I mean, I'm not playing with 1,000 Suns that much intent, to be fair, but I've always just assumed that this is the case because I think it was in 9th. So this actually doesn't affect me at all, and I think it makes more sense. Because having just one side could just pump out like 2 dew bolts makes no sense. I always done 2 dew bolts from 2 different places. That's fine. This is unfortunate, but again, I can't be hypocritical because it's an army I play. This is better, I think, because just removing the armor save is horrible. The fact it still costs 9 sucks. And it's only shooting. But still +2 AP going up by 2 is pretty good. And because it's now yeah, I think it's fine. I feel like it's basically 10.5 attrition. I think it is, and I think that's good. I think if every you know every 6 months they do a battle day, sorry. And the last one wasn't huge. If they're doing they obviously did like a 10.1 and now a 10.5. They do it like a 10.51 and then a 10 and then a 10 point something. I think that's a good way to do it. And I think if that's the way they want to go, I think that's really healthy for the game because one, it allows them to do big changes which like clear up a bunch of the problems people have. And I saw some posts which like, oh, basically we had a beta test. Well, it's not really a beta test. 10th edition came out like and had their rules, and Games Workshop have now, they're clearly going into a way which it means they can make big changes. I imagine between each each year, so obviously we've had the Leviathan, now we've got Pariah Nexus, and if each time the cards come out they're allowed to do big sweeping changes like this, I think that's really healthy because it's definitely cleared a bunch of stuff up. And whilst this is unfortunate to again lose something quite flavorful, but it was very OP. Wasn't sure how the rules change gap felt. Yeah, I think it's still more frequent than they've ever done before, right? And I think it's fine. Yeah, it's unfortunate to be. I'm sure there's plenty of people who have bought something and now it's been nerfed. But I think the fact that you have I think you're having 6 Primaris Dreadnoughts is fine because I think they're all going to be really good, so I wouldn't worry about it. And 23rd Spade, thank you for following over on Twitch. I feel like making Twisted Fate High podcast will be more fair. Here's the problem. 1,000 Suns are already very, very dependent on characters and having Cabal points. And increasing the cost of Cabal increasing number of Cabal points to do this stuff would just make it even worse. So I think by having Twisted Fate being less reliable, you can actually then potentially not have to take as many characters to get those Cabal points, because you don't have to spend them on the Twist of Fate. This is probably the hardest to balance out rule-wise. Yeah, they have a lot of weird tricks. And I think they've done a pretty good job of kind of keeping things contained. Doom Bolt, obviously now can't target, non-operative. Why is this, that unit? What did it used to say? Why is that highlighted red? Was there something people were doing without the word that? Alright, well, we'll have video load, because it sometimes takes a while. I guess it's just clarifying words. And then saying yeah. I mean, this is fine. I mean, this is to keep it in line with other stuff anyway. So, Finicky stuff is quickly underwhelming or super strong. Yeah, that's the thing. If you have anything Finicky, this is why I keep saying like these kind of things getting nerfed is good for the overall game, because either they're useless anyway, or you can do weird stuff with them that just makes them too difficult to balance. So what did I say before? Okay, it just says the enemy, so it's a D3 mortal wounds or 2 fights, it suffers. Okay, so I guess it's just a clarifying thing. Were people arguing that it could have been other things? I hope not, because that's stupid. Can't be used the same. Yeah. So someone mentioned about the triple move. This was the triple move. You could basically temporal surge. Because you could temporal surge. You could then do because you can only use yeah, because you only use the same yeah, you can make you a ritual even if you don't use that ritual its phase. So yeah, you can only use each once per phase. It says it you could each ritual can only use once per phase. So what you would do is you'd have you could have someone with this, so you'd move Twist of Fate, not Twist of Fate, Temporal Surge. So your Magnus would go, what, 28, 42 inches. That could be more than that, because you can make him move faster, right? Yeah. Like 48-inch move. Which I never got to use, but it sounds silly. But even like a 28-inch move is insane. This one's interesting as well. Instead of it being like you select on a 2+, it is now you have to hit them with the Arcane Fire and they get it. I think that's fine. Yeah, it said that unit. I get it, it's clarifying. I assume it's just to make the wording more consistent. Yeah, what you would do is you'd have a guy, you'd move a dude, do something like Doom Bolt, or do you know, Twist of Fate, or maybe even something like this to stop moving. Then you have someone Twist and Fate them back. Oh yeah, it doesn't affect monsters or vehicles or advance. Ah, that's interesting. But I guess it wouldn't. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So this is a bit of a nerf, but then the points also come down a bit as well. So. Have you looked at the core changes already? Yeah, we've already done the core changes. So Synapse. This is good change. So it's just +1 to strength when in melee. That makes them scarier. Also, and the following is both dates. So the Broodlord and the Parasite and Mortrex now have Synapse as well. That makes Parasite and Mortrex more interesting, because now this thing is a Synapse creature as well. Neurotyrants can go with Zoanthropes, which makes sense. Don't know why they wouldn't be able to do that before. Neurotix is now Synapse. Don't know what this means, but sure. I think that's for one of the things. And also, each time an enemy unit takes a battle shock test and it's within 6 inches of a synapse unit, subtract 1. So a bit more battle shocky stuff, which obviously is important with actions. Yeah, time to buy zone thropes. Crush Stampede. So your monsters have 2 objective control score when they're at starting strength. That's fine. I mean, it's just you're a bit more buff if you haven't been attacked. Doesn't really do much, but it's fine. And untrammeled? Don't think I've heard that word before. Untrammeled. Right, Vanguard Invader units. Tyranids with the ability are eligible to charge until which fallback. Vanguard Invader units are able to charge when they advanced. So that means there's a couple more things that have this. And Crusher Stampede. I lost Crusher Stampede, hang on. What was I looking at? Untrammeled. So it used to be models in this unit can move through enemy models as if they were friendly models, and until the end of the phase any desperate escape tests are automatically passed. Now it is each time a model in unit makes a normal advance or fall back move, it can move through models and sections of terrain to are 4 or just less or height. When doing so, it can move into any... Oh, basically, so, yeah. So this untrammeled philosophy is basically now the super heavy thing. So it allows you to move through buildings, which is very cool. It basically just means your monsters can, like, charge through the wall and go, brah! Which is really cool. Regardless how good about these changes are, it's such a good precedent that games are willing to make the dramatic changes in the game. Yes, exactly. Hive Tyrant. Well, friendly Tyranid units within 6 inches. Range weapons have assault and lethal. Interesting. Yeah, bunch of things get synapse. Extra strength there. This is scary because one of the people in the Crusade I have uses one of these and they're very scary. So 2d6 go to d6 plus 6. Much better. Much more consistent. You're at least doing 7 damage with this thing if you hit. Very nice to see. Oh, and if it's within... if it's next to a hive tyrant, it gets lethal. Scary. Add 1 to weapon attacks and damage... Oh, these aren't new. This is nothing new here. Nothing new here. Yeah, this is all old stuff. I probably won't go through all of this because that's a lot. Let's have a look at points first, actually. Let's look at points first. The result of points update in this document, Crusade players may find their combined points value exceeds. You can increase your supply limit so that it is equal to your... So basically I can now have 2005 or 2015 points. Not that I'd want to. Alright, so this is obviously a lot of changes. I'm not going to go into the whole details of it, but because a lot of things got a lot of like buffs, it's basically kind of making this a bit more of a like Morven Var got massively buffed, so being points nerfed makes sense. I think it basically becomes more of a more of an elite army. Again, shout out to Christian von Carbine if you want to learn more about sisters. I don't really know that much about sisters, but they do seem cool. I would like to try them at some point. I will give people like a minute to yell about sisters before we move on. Add mecha, so add back. Exactly. One write I would like to see was clarification on hover rule for Stormravens. I'm going to text got lifetime. Yeah. So that was just them being weird. Essentially, they were arguing that because their thing was like slightly too high, but then I think it's just a case of the Stormraven is just slightly wobbly, and I think it's just a case of they should just maybe just clarify that yes, it's 5 inches off the ground. I think he got banned not just for that. I think from what I remember or what I read, there was other stuff he was doing. This is hard to get a point buff because it costs so much money to build an army. Fair. Tyranids might be able to win the game. Hey. How does Legends model work? Just not allowed in tourneys? Yes. So you can use them anywhere else as long as people are happy to play Legends. For example, so the Tabletop Tactics League allows Legends. I think we've allowed Legends in our Crusade. Not that many people use them, but the thing is with Legends, you've got to be careful because obviously they're not really well supported, so they can be kind of janky and a bit maybe OP or underpowered. So just, but again, if you want to use them and your opponent's happy to use them, that's fine. Custodian's got just some Forge World. Looks like they have so much Forge World stuff, and it looks like it's just some of the Forge World stuff got a bit buffed and Shield Host there. Again, they got a lot of other updates anyway, so that's cool. Admech obviously got a lot of point nerfs, but then also a lot, like, if we look at the if we look at Admech and go to the Iron Starry, Ballistari, or whatever it's called, it looks like Rangers of Vanguards are up. Iron Starry, Ballistari. I know it's not called Iron Starry, Ballistari, that's what I call it. So they were 50, and now they're 50. Iron Starry, Ballistari? Where were you? No, they're 70. So they got up 20 points each. But that, bear in mind, you have twice as many attacks, and you're probably way better at hitting as well. So I think it's fine. Again, similar with Sisters, obviously being able to get those point nerfs means you don't have to buy as many models. You're hitting on 3s. With heavies, you're hitting on 2s. Scary. Yeah, Admech was way too hoardy. Yeah. Especially because how difficult they are to paint. Yeah, I mean, Rangers only went up 5 points. And essentially now, yeah, everything has heavy and you have +1 here, so you've got... So yeah, you're hitting on 2s with all this stuff now. Wait, what? Galvanic Rifle. Oh, okay. I was looking down this list going 6, 8, 7, 8, 7, and I missed this 4. I was like, wow, everything has a lot of strength. Yeah, you're essentially hitting on 2s now, potentially. And something like, I don't know, what are those dudes called? Castellan Robots. Yeah, having all this be 2s, pretty good. Or, what are the Breaches called? There you go. Yeah, having this stuff hit on 2s, it's pretty scary. Well, they were 145, now they are 160. So, okay, they've been nerfed quite a lot. We'll see, it'll be interesting to see. Robots don't benefit unless you're in the robot attachment. Fair enough. Those silly robots. Let's go 240 all round, I'd be happy with a flat 10 to 50. I think this has probably sorted it out. I think the Horde armies are now Horde armies. I think the problem was... I can see where you're coming from. I think the problem was that there were a lot of armies that had a lot of models on the board, as opposed to just some armies being that Horde. Now that Admech are more elite, Sisters are more elite, it kind of has come back to being like Orcs and like the Tyranid one and Genes to the Cults being the Horde armies, and I think that's a lot better. Like my Screamer Raven army is like 40 models, it's not that many. Yeah, one option to go doubling amount of attacks. It's pretty good, yeah. +1 hit army wide, heavy or AP and melee. So yeah, I think they're good. Titanicus. What? Why bother? Sure. I don't know enough about Aeldari. Some stuff went down, some stuff went up. So sure. Nothing for the Ancient Imperium. Okay, so Castle Kingdom now back to where they were. Rogal Dawn's got, I think, it's like a 20-point buff. And then, yeah, a lot of your stuff like the Basilisk Manticores, Death Strikes, Field Ordnance, these got buffed, but that's because indirect is garbage now. I think Sentinels are gonna be your bread and butter. Because they just got buffed and they can do, they're basically lethal hits constantly. I think Element Sentinels are gonna be scary. I know I got short, I think they were mid-range, now even more nerfs to the most used stuff and no meaningful increases. That's a shame. I mean, it looks like yeah, like Wraith Lord and a few characters got buffed. So we'll see. Aeldari seemed to in 10th. Aeldari seemed to be very good at kind of sticking around and pivoting. So we'll see. Black Templar. Yeah, this is the same as with Space Marines. The Valiant the Reapers. Yeah, how much was Be'lakor before? That's a question. Be'lakor. 350. That's a pretty significant point drop. All of the big boys have dropped. Nurgling's dropped, but again, that's because they can't really do much anymore. Yeah, a lot of kind of big boy drops. Fiends, Demon, yeah, interesting to play. They seem interesting. I think that might be fun. Chaos Knights, just a few nerfs. It's fine. Yeah, Space Marines, a few buffs here. A lot of nerfs for Chaos Space Marines. But I think they've come out with their codex was really good. So, I mean, Venom Crawler, Warp Talons also got nerfed from their ability as well. This feels like a double dip, but sure. I mean, there's still quite a lot of stuff here, so yeah, we'll see. I don't know. First good points of increases and finally not like the balance after Necrons. Yeah. Dark Angels, Knights nerfed, Dark Shard nerfed. Although that actually hasn't highlighted the points there, so another mistake. How dare you? Death Guard, Blight Lords buffed, but that's about it. Blight Haulers are slightly better. Fair enough. Death Watch, a couple of bits here and there, not a whole lot. Death Watch have problems. So Drukhari is interesting. So they've nerfed 5 Scourges but buffed 10 Scourges. That's because you can only take 4 Pain and Suffering only character would, yeah, it is unfortunate to be Death Watch player. You can only take 4 special weapons, so obviously that's here. So basically you can get another 5 Scourges for 60 points. Would you want to? No. Because yeah, they're just really difficult to hide at that point. Maybe that's got a use, I don't know. Ravagers 110, sure. Grotesques weren't really being used. But the thing is, Drukhari are fine at the moment, so I'm fine. What's next? Gene Seeder Cults. Again, don't know enough about Gene Seeder Cults. But they're all over the place. Lots of ups, downs, side to sides. I don't know. I'm a boo. Also boo. Yeah, I mean, few nerfs here for Grey Knights. I think they'll do pretty well, so Imperial Knights, yeah, the big. Nothing for Leagues of Votann. Sure. Doomstalker, Wraiths, and that's it for Necrons, what looks at it. And then Meganobs nerfed, Boss Snickrot, and Weird Boy. Pain Boss, yeah, so characters and Meganobs were nerfed. But that's about it. Space Marines, and now I get to turn on the frowny face. Photo got their kill team added. Hold the frowns. Oh yeah, these Jaegers. Fair enough. And frown resume, right. Obviously, this is the same. Like, these are all the same as we've seen before. Repulsor. So the Impulsor I don't think got buffed, but the Repulsor did. And then here's the thing that upsets me greatly. Oh, why? I mean, if you already get, this is the same thing that happened before with they nerfed Devastated Centurions, despite the fact it was kind of Uriel Ventress doing the thing. Wait. I have Nightbot? Sorry about the 23rd spade. I didn't realize you were spamming. Apparently I have Nightbot. I forgot I set that up. Sure. How did the Gladiator Lancer not get nerfed? I don't know. I guess it's already 160. I guess they just made those a parity. Yeah. Like, yeah, and then they've obviously they've nerfed the Stormraven gunship because it seems like they were doing a death ball with the Ironstorm Spearhead, but they also nerfed the Ironstorm Spearhead. I think Games Watcher doesn't like you. Exactly, they don't like me specifically. I would say that Necron's got no good changes, in my opinion, in all caps. Ah, that's fair, yeah. Necrons didn't seem to get a whole lot, but they're doing pretty well, so. But yeah, just rude, to be honest, just rude. Space Wolves, Cavalry and Wolfen. I think they were being used, I don't know, actually, so. I can stop being so upset. T'au. Buffs, sure. Yeah, I don't think there's any crew. Hammerhead went up. No, nothing crew changey. Yeah, cool. Strike team at 75. Yeah, these are points. Yeah, 1,000 Suns. So this is good. Obviously, I haven't played 1,000 Suns in a while. But when I did, they're just doing well, but in the wrong way. Should solve internal balance issues. Yeah. When I did play 1,000 Suns, Mutilith Vortex Beasts and Scarabcot Terminus is what I used. So the fact that they're getting buffed again, quits in. Tyranids, the Neurolictor, Ripper Swarms changed slightly. Interesting change. You can get 1 for 25, then you're essentially getting buy one, get one free at 30. But I guess that's because they don't want to just have one Ripper Swarm just kind of hanging around, so that's fine. Tervigan, Biovore, Spores. I can think again, this is because they can't do actions and stuff. But not much else. Oh, and the Vanguard Onslaught got slightly buffed. And more 8-bound. And that's about it. Tower just fish. Immortal's too strong because of gun range stuff. Warrior's too underpowered because the reanimation rules suck. Wraith should get even more points, increases the track, which are truly sad. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know Necrons enough, but that sounds reasonable. It seems like Necrons do okay, but again, it might be one of those things where it's like because of some of the unhealthy stuff. Meganov's changed crazy overboard. I only see them as bodyguard for guard school now. Let's look at the Treyarch Praetorian datasheet. Alright, I will. We'll wait for Wikipedia to Treyarch Praetorians? What do these look like? Oh, these are guys with they're pretty quick. You can reroll charge rolls, and you can declare a charge which you fell back. Cool. They have everyone has the Rod of the Covenant. All models can have that replaced with a Void Blade and a Particle Caster, which would basically be more devastating wound pistol shots for less damage, which I don't think you go for because this is still pretty good. 2 wins, toughness 5, 120 points for 5. They fly, which is weird. Dual kit with Lich Guard. Yeah, Lich Guard are very tough. That's the thing, I suppose. But these look alright, but again, I don't know. I guess they're not as good as this, right? Having this profile whilst you have like subtract 1 to wound and 4 up invuln. Oh wait, 85 points versus 120. Also, you're paying another 35 or 20 points for it. Yeah, that's a lot of points. The buff for Black Horse is honestly high. 270 for a squad of 3 is honestly crazy. 3 T9, 10 wound models, 6 multi-mount shots, 3 crack missiles, 16 or 12 throwaway lethal. Yeah, I mean they do seem really good. Oh, true. You don't get any characters because these can be led by all this, but these can't. Okay. Yeah, I can see why they suck. Counter Strike Team is one of the suits that still kind of useless even with point. Yeah, I think because you're going to use breaches, right? Breaches are just better. Also, nice for you to update the Tyranid rules and first see what it brings. Yeah. I think Tyranids will be pretty good. I think the Shadow of the Warp changes are really good with the +1 strength. I think this is good. I think the thing is, I think people gotta kind of take into account. Obviously, things have been nerfed, buffed, all that stuff. But so is everything. So things might come out in the wash, is what I'm saying. Like, obviously, Guard, for example, like indirect has been nerfed, but it's been nerfed for everyone. And there's a lot of shuffling around, so I don't know. We'll see. Was there anything in the core rules update that was super important? I think there was. So some of this stuff like redeploy. So gaining CP is interesting. Basically, you can really only gain 1 extra CP. So you get 3 CP per turn. Yeah, see where the meta lands exactly. This is the big change, though. So, despite this model's wings being wider than the gap, the model fits its base through. So these are interesting changes. The other thing is the pivot. Each time you move a model in a straight line, measure the distance from the same point on its base at the start and the end of that line. For example, you measure from the back of the model's base and measure this is the back of the model's base at the start and end of the line. Doesn't basically use the same model thing. Each time you pivot, rotate it any amount around its central axis, perpendicular to the battlefield with the center of its base. I hate that they have to clarify that, because that implies that some people would attempt to rotate it like, I don't know why I'm holding my hand up because the VTuber model doesn't have articulated hands like that. Rather than rotating it like on the base, do people think they would rotate it like on the horizontal axis and just like lay it down? I know someone out there would do that if they hadn't clarified. It's so funny though that they have to be like, please, like, the central axis it's a vertical axis, for God's sake. Don't try and rotate your models on a weird axis to get extra movement, for God's sake. Just need line of sight rules from bases. Yeah, that's all we need now. Just bases, because true line of sight's a bit silly. It's like weird clarifications of it Americans people do. So yeah, it's like this pack of peanuts may contain nuts. And I know obviously that is like, it's because of the, you know, it makes sense in those situations, like the peanuts thing, because otherwise you just make, it's one of those things, just make everyone do it and then you don't have to make exceptions. Fine. But this one is just funny because you know someone will try it. It's very daft. Especially with like these people like rotating their bloody rhinos on their side, just to be like, well, it says rotate around the central axis. Didn't say which one. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Netcake. But the reason for that is capital G gamers. Let's be honest. Gamers will optimize the fun out of everything. People in like Helldivers 2 are mad if you didn't like. Some people got mad if you didn't choose the right weapon. People get mad if you don't like pick the right character in games, or if it's not like meta or something, even though you're terrible at the game anyway. People will try and get every little bit of advantage to try and win, because they're not good enough at the game to just win normally. And that's a kind of a pervasive thing, not just with Warhammer. It's a pervasive thing with like the internet. So get rotated, idiot. Is that exactly? Technical term is indeed skill issue. You're not wrong. Trying to get my head around 10th. Just started playing 6th edition last year. You are way behind. 6th edition. 10th is, I think 10th is good. And again, I've said this at like the start as well, when people were saying about how many rules obviously have been changed. Start slow. You don't have to like get everything, because even if you took all the rules, you're going to make a ton of mistakes anyway. I still make a ton of mistakes. So, like, take your time with it. Don't play with everything immediately. Slowly introduce yourself into it. Because also, likely you're going to be painting up and building an army. I still haven't finished my 2,000 army, so. So monsters and vehicles. Excluding models on round. I saw someone was arguing in a Discord. I can't remember what, but basically about round bases because like an oval is technically round, but they mean circles, right? Because on a oval base, if you rotate it, it changes the orientation. I think it's just circles. What are your thoughts on the disc sorceress execution? I think it's fine. It sucks a little bit, but I think it still sees play. Mostly just because they have other stuff. But yeah, I imagine it will probably say circle because someone may argue about the definition of round. But they have a pivot over 2 inches, and this is very interesting. This is what I thought was quite interesting. I like how they're kind of recomplicating 10th. Yeah, I get it's not so much. Yeah, I see what your point is, right? It's not so much recomplicating as it is. I guess it's like clarifying or kind of neatening up some of what they've done. Is they've taken 9th and they've tried to streamline it for 10th. And in that streamlining, there was a few little bits that weren't quite streamlined there. So like little threads, little strands that were a bit outside of what they wanted to do. And this is what they've done now is they're now bringing it back in. So. Possible game issue with vehicles, so you could twist a monolith to get closer. Are monoliths symmetrical? I don't know, actually, to be fair. Let's have a look at monolith. Hey, look, we're on the Necron Zeta series. Monolith. Show me the monolith. It's kind of symmetrical. I guess unless you put the monolith, like, on the edge of the base. Oh god, someone's going to do that, aren't they? Oh no. Because the hull overhangs the base, right? So someone's gonna... So what you could do... Am I even showing this on screen? Yes, okay, it's just on the edge there. Let me... So what you could do is you just stick the base here, and then you could rotate, because you won't lose pivot, you could rotate the base, because it says it's a circle base, you can rotate it. You could rotate the whole thing, and then the hull is closer. Oh god. Here, right, this is why the internet was a mistake. Because, like, if someone went to a tournament and did that, they should be fired out of a cannon into the sun, because it's just silly. But the hull should be not be able to benchmark, it has to be the base, right? If the hull overhangs the base, you can measure to the base. So for example, if you wanted to charge here, like obviously you might not be able to get to the base, but this still counts as being like an engagement range. It's like a Stormraven is a really good example of this. But obviously this isn't a circle base, but because this here is like 5 inches vertical from here, this counts as engagement range, and also for getting it in and out and in of the transport. Because otherwise, like, if this didn't, it would be weird with like certain things. So obviously the monolith is like very slightly overhanging, but the guns stick out a little bit. But I think that's slight. If these are so someone could do that, but if they do, they should just be. This is the thing: is if you're doing that kind of stuff to kind of get every little advantage, you're not playing the game. You're just trying to win. Okay, you are playing the game, but you're just trying to win. You're kind of being an arsehole. And I feel like with any game, rule number 1 is don't be an arsehole. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could prove that mathematically. Maybe not mathematically, but... pretty sure it says here something about don't be a dick, but maybe it doesn't. I'm pretty sure there was a thing somewhere where it's like, just don't be an asshole. Maybe it's in the very, very start. Yeah, there may be times we're not sure how to resolve. When this happens, quick chat with your opponent. What seems the most fun? If not, roll off. Then you get to go on with fighting, yeah. You know, just don't be an arsehole. Shiver says you can't engage the wing. But if it's less... I thought you could. Oh well. The base is barely visible from the top. Yeah, so for I've closed the picture now. Yeah, but for the monolith, yeah, exactly. So technically you could put it on the edge, which I think is stupid. But what happens now is you pivot around the central axis. And yes, they've had to try and prove what the central axis is because people will fail that. Obviously, with the and the other thing is also, like people would obviously try and like curve the tape measure to get the move. Which you don't have to do now, which is good, because curving a tape measure is annoying anyway. Now it is a lot of just... It's straight moves with a 0-inch pivot. But here, obviously, this one, they move 6 inches, and then they decide to move from this point here, so that didn't change. Here, they move to here, and then they can move this 4 inches, and then rotate it. So they moved it to here, and then they rotated it. So technically, like, this part here moved all of this distance, but they're just making it so it's a pivot, and that's way easier to kind of deal with. Because having to try and measure, like, okay, I want to move from here to, like, here, so this is going to move, like, that far, but this is going to move that far, like, it's a bit messy. And because it's only one, you only lose it once. So this is the other thing. So move 5 inches and do a 2-inch pivot. Rather than having to do a 3-inch move and then another 2-inch pivot, you still got the remaining 5 inches. And then you can pivot again. I mean, in this situation, why wouldn't you just move that way? But again, this is obviously for clarification. But I mean, you could just... If this is here, if we're saying that's 5 inches, like from there to there is 5 inches, right? And it's getting to like down here. I mean, yeah, you could have just moved it like that anyway. But you get the point. It's less trying to wheel stuff around. Yeah, the wing thing at the tournament, yeah. Well, I think we might have to have a look at that. 'Cause, yeah, it was basically... The thing is, I don't know if he... My understanding is that he'd done other stuff before. But I think my Stormraven wings are less than 5 inches. But I think it should just be like all hull. So I don't know. Maybe just lower the Stormraven slightly. First third cleared a charge. Gap in the ruins is wide enough for the model's base. This is also the interesting thing. The fact that it's wide enough for the model's base is super useful. Stuff like, again, Stormravens. Firing deck. So there was a thing you could do with eliminators, right? Where you could shoot them, jump them into a vehicle, because you could do a move after they shot, and then shoot again, which they've cleared up, because that was silly. Let's at least one model. Yes, that's shooting, mortal wounds. So devastating wounds don't carry over now. I think it says that somewhere. Yeah, if mortal wounds are being inflicted as a result of the hazardous ability or by devastating wounds, each time the allocated model, if that model is destroyed, the remaining wounds are lost, just as with a normal attack. So they basically made it so the devastating wounds are mortal wounds again, but they're slightly different. Well, Scrum for finding out more stuff about the game and hating yourself. Yeah, thanks, 23rd Spade. Have a good one. And thanks again for following. Yeah, sure. So that at least makes devastating wounds. It's no longer devastating wounds, just like ignore whatever. Indirect fire 1 to 3 always fails. Good. I think having reliable indirect sucks. Target has benefit cover, yeah, so fine. I think that's fine. And I know obviously for very indirect heavy armies this sucks, but I think it's better. Joy Python is 5 inches tall. The one goes up inside, makes the wing just barely fit. That's why I like you. I think it's one of those things where it has only come up once, I can tell. I don't know. I don't know what my opinion is on it. My opinion is I think because it's 5 inches, so. But yeah, I don't know. Always needing 4 for indirect is going to be a lot more fun to fight against. Exactly. This is the thing. It's a lot healthier to fight against. Because I think having reliable barrages sucks, and it's just not fun. Especially because it's like, oh, it ignores cover, and also it's like 2s to hit. It's like, well, we might as well just not have walls. Hazardous, this was explained before, but yeah, basically... Oh, Hazardous has changed slightly. Rather than just killing a model outright, it's just 3 mortal wounds, which don't bleed over, which is good for stuff like crisis suits. Your Hazardous isn't going to affect the other models in the unit. Most things are still going to die outright, because they don't have 3 wounds, but it's got interesting implications. Extra attacks, I think people were trying to do stuff with extra attacks, it's fine. Those things of any kind can be used against attack. Such attacks are only allocated models after all of the attacks made by the attacking unit have been allocated and resolved. After an attack is allocated, and after any modifiers are applied, this inflicts a number of mortal wounds on the target equal to the damage characteristic of that attack, instead of inflicting damage normally. This is just clarifying that it can't be reduced to less than 1 or 0, so it can't be minus 1 OC. The leadership can't be mad. Kind of standard stuff. Can't have 0+ saves. Fairly standard stuff. They're just clarifying. This is something they clarified before, but it's now being codified about Deep Strike. You can use either Deep Strike or Strategic Res with their Industry Reserves. This has got stuff about the... each time the last model of the character unit is attached to the bodyguard unit, destroy then not another character unit attached. The attached unit is bodyguard. Unit becomes a separate unit. If it happens as a result of the attack, they become separate units after the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks. Cool. Command rerolls. Interestingly, you can now do a command reroll on hazardous tests. And I think that's it. Oh, number of attacks and damage. Oh, you could do it on damage before. You couldn't do it on number of attacks before. And if you're fast rolling dice, you can use it after rolling. Because I read this and it maddened me that people were saying that you couldn't use CP reroll if you fast rolled because it gave you an unfair advantage for information. Like, that hadn't come up before. I think people... This is the thing. I think people will start to just be like, oh, I need to get an advantage some other way. You can't use CP reroll if you fast roll. You have to roll one at a time and then decide if you want to CP roll. No, that's dumb. I've never played it that way. It's never been a problem. So I'm glad they've clarified that because that's just annoying. Insane bravery. What? Probably was it leader that lost the squad. That would be cool. That'd be an interesting. That would be an interesting thing to like have as a like an army or a detachment where you have characters who can jump between units. That'd be fun. Grenade. They've just clarified. One grenade model in the unit. And you can't do it while you've either shot, advanced, or bell. Like, fine. Tank shock changes. I don't mind the tank shock change, although it does affect me a lot because I have Invicta Warsuits. But I do. I was saying this in Discord. The reason I think this change is good is because what tank shock became was my good melee vehicles are just better because I can just get a ton of free mortal wounds. When what tank shock is meant to be is, oh shit, I need to hit you with something and I've only got tanks that do terribly in melee. So I think this is a good change. You also don't get any extra, like, +2 to the roll for certain stuff. I think this change is absolutely fine. I think this is a good change, despite the fact that it affects me greatly. Like, Brutalis on the charge would get the 12 dice to roll, or 14 dice to roll. Plus, they could do their own thing on the charge. So they could mortal wound the shit out of people. Started relearning from the Leviathan set rule, but now a massive rule update. I mean, it's... None of the stuff in here is going to greatly affect what you've learned, which is good. So don't be too put off by it. It's one of those things where I think, like, if you only just started learning, play a few games with what you've learned with people who are, you know, also learning. Because, like I've said before, you're going to make mistakes, and then you can start looking at some of this stuff and kind of clarifying stuff. Like, you don't need to learn Tank Shock for, like, your first game, because it probably won't come up, or if it does, you have so much other stuff you need to be thinking about. When you start going, okay, what does Tank Shock do? Then you can start looking at this stuff. Rapid Ingress has a thing about Deep Strike, that's fine. In fact, these are not plussed, so that's fine. Fire Watch, same. Heroic Intervention is now only 1 CP, which is really cool. Heroic Intervention is really cool, and it's a shame it doesn't get used because it's too expensive. What's the change to Tank Shock? So Tank Shock used to be the strength of your melee weapon determined how many dice you got. And if that was higher than the toughness of what you were charging, you got 2 more. So a... Hey, look, we can use this. This is very cool. So a Monolith would get 8 dice, because it has strength 8 on the charge if you use Tank Shock. Now, a Monolith would actually get 13 dice, because it's toughness 13. So a Monolith is better at Tank Shock now, because it is essentially ramming its bulk. But then compared to a... because it's one I know. An Invicta... For some reason, the Invicta had strength 14, so it was having 16 dice and getting 6s. Now it's only going to have 8. It is... It makes... So Tank Shock was something that I would basically use every charge. So it's gone from a, like, constant use stratagem to a... what's the word? Situational. To a situational, like, I need to ram you with a tough tank. And I do think that is a lot better. It makes a lot more sense. And again, cleans up something that people could cause problems with. Again, Brutalises. Whilst my Brutalis has been shit for me for a while, obviously they're difficult to get into melee and whatever, you were getting, you know, 12 dice, plus you would do this on the charge as well, so you'd double dip. So you could do potentially, like, 12 mortal wounds on the charge. It was insane. Can you Tank Shock with a drop pod, lol? No, because you can't charge with a drop pod. But if you could, it'd be funny. It would be fun to be able to try and drop pod people, but I don't know how you'd work that out. But that's Tank Shock. Heroic Energy is 1 CP. They made it so Primarchs and Belisarius Call can go through walls, which is fine. Models that are within this terrain feature can be seen normally, and towering models that are within this terrain feature can also see out of it normally. Yes, this is clarifying something about... Yeah, that's fine. Something about being a warlord and battle line. Yeah. Queues. Fun has a rule that allows it to shoot or fight after a certain condition is met. How many times can it shoot or fight? As many times as the relevant condition is met unless otherwise stated. Okay, that doesn't clarify anything. When a rule allows a model to shoot or fight after being destroyed but before being replayed, does that model's unit count as having been selected to shoot or fight? No. Oh, yeah, because you don't select it to fight, you just fight. Rhino sit for 9d6 now used to be 6. Exactly. Like, tanks that... Basically, the way it works is that... tanks that were... Or vehicles that were good in melee would just be better in melee because they could get a good hit off. When the entire point of Tank Shock is tanks that are not good in melee get to do something to do something in melee. Yeah, Paragon War Suits would just take 1 mace for tank shock, that kind of stuff. When an attack targets a leader unit that contains 1 or more models that have the character keyword, and 1 or more models that do not have the character keyword, if that leader is not an attached unit, can attack when you have the character in that unit. Sure. Where do I measure from when determining something within my aura? You measure from the base, or the closest point of any part of the model. After all models played, can a save character be 1 or better? No, but they've clarified that anyway. There are rules that take effect with the same timing as when primary and secondary missions are checked for scoring. Such rules resolve before or after primary. Before. Okay, I don't know. Some of this stuff I don't really have a grasp on. Some rules take effect at the start of the phase. All rules take effect at the start of the phase, turn, or battle round must fully resolve for any rules that do not specify. Charmer unit becomes battle shot. Do the effects of any previously used stratagems affect them stop applying? Nope. Cool. So if you had like armor contempt, then you became battle shock. Don't lose armor contempt. Fine. As all objective markers begin on the battlefield in the contested state, is it ever possible for a player to control that objective marker before the end of the first player's command phase? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. If a unit from your army has a rule that allows it to be targeted with stratagem, meaning that stratagem has already been used by you early in the phase, what happens when if you have not used that stratagem yet in that phase? And use that stratagem again later in the phase as well? No. Yeah, so basically you have to do that stratagem and then do that stratagem. The second time you use the stratagem has to be through the ability. You can't use the stratagem through the ability to then get it for free somewhere else. That's not how that works. Which makes a lot of sense. I don't know why they need clarifying. If a rule would apply to a model when it's destroyed, but another rule to prevent that model unit from being destroyed, does the former rule take effect? No. Did people really think this? Like... What this is saying, if I'm reading this right, the rule would apply when a model or unit is destroyed, but another rule prevents that model from being destroyed. Does the former rule take effect? No, because you haven't been destroyed. How? Why is this being clarified? Another rule prevents that model from being destroyed, so it's not destroyed. So it doesn't get to. Who was doing that? Who asked this question, and why was it frequently asked? Models are subjected to 2 rules that set a characteristic value of no emissary, singular purpose, ability, and be battle shot. Which rule is resolved first? The order is determined by the active player, or if it is at the start end of battle round, the player's roll off determined to choose. For example, if the controller player's turn, they choose for the battle shock rule to take effect, setting the objective score to 0, then the singular purpose to take effect, setting the final objective score to 15. For opponent's turn, however, the opponent can choose to play the opposite way. What is this saying if I'm reading this right? It's a con for errata redaction. Very true. Very true. Okay, this is interesting. So... Yeah, so basically, if I battle shock you and it's my turn, I say, okay, set your character to 15, then set it to 0. That's my choice. If both players have a rule that can optionally decide if to activate or not, and the decisions are made at the same time, in what order must it play? During a player's turn, that player decides first, and the opponent does. It's not during a player's turn. Players roll off. And the loser of the roll must decide first. That makes sense. Each time a unit from player's army shoots or fights, if an enemy unit is destroyed by those attacks while there are still unresolved left attacks, dues the remaining attacks need to be resolved. No, although if any of these attacks are made with a weapon with one-shot ability, the weapons still have been shot. Similarly, hazardous tests will be to protect for any weapon with a hazardous ability. Right, okay, that's fine. If a rule adds this one was contentious. And I don't agree with this. And I still don't agree with this. If a rule adds damage characteristic to attack, the melter ability, and another rule changes it to 0, will the final damage be 0? No, the rules change the damage characteristic to 0, take effect first, then other modifiers, including the melter ability. If the attacking weapon was melter 2, the damage ability would change to 0, and then it would... I don't like that. It seems weird, and I don't really like it. I mean, I'm glad it's clarified, and I have a lot of melter, so it actually helps me. But it also just feels a bit weird. Like, the stuff that reduces a damage... Like, taking 0 damage should take 0 damage. Because I think the only time this really comes up is melter. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, but it's clarified now, and I'll play it like that. And it's not the worst thing in the world. But and I mean, melted to, it melted to a d6 plus 2 becoming 2 is fine, but it's also one of those things where it's like, I don't know, weird. And a monster vehicle unit is within engagement range of one or more enemies be targeted with a fire Overwatch stratagem because of big guns over time. No. Good. Stupid. Big guns over time allow the unit to shoot in its controlling player's shooting phase. Can rules that specify that they only take a phase controlled player's shooting phase be used when shooting fire Overwatch? Nope. That's out of phase. Can models overhang the edge of the battlefield? Yes, as long as the model's base or hull is wholly within. So that's basically you can have a guy with a sword hanging out at the side of the fire. That's fine. That model's player can draw a line of sight to any part of the model that is not overhanging the edge of the battlefield. If a model has been set up in your deployment zone, can parts of that model overhang your deployment zone? No, unless it's too large to do otherwise, in which case as much of that model as possible must be set within the deployment zone. Fine. I don't know what kind of big models they are, but sure. Still mad I've got out of your system. I don't know, I can be mad for a brief period. One more mad. Okay, I'm happy now. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. There we go. I should be correct now. Yeah, there we go. This update is hot garbage. I'll be placing both my orcs and space wolves on the shelf and walking away. Really? What don't you like about it? What do you think is hot garbage? Because everything I've seen so far, apart from the Stormraven nerf, is great. Like, all of it is clarified. What's the original mad Stormraven? Stormraven got nerfed, and so Paul mad. Mostly just because I like the Stormraven, I don't want it to be nerfed. I think the updates so far have been really good. Because I think it clarifies everything. Oh, when I end the stream, I will probably put in brackets, like, because of the Stormraven. For all, allows units to make normal advance for blah, 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 blah. Can you... Sorry, I've kind of lost the... There's so much. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot. Go read it. There's tons there. My brain is kind of getting a bit fried. There's so much stuff, but I think it's basically just a case of I like what's happened. I like what's changed. Whether you do or not is, you know, your prerogative. But I think it's all pretty good. Now, can I do a thing? Who is streaming? Because apparently, I didn't know this. You can raid on Twitch. You are a fool. Keep in mind, Superchats are only in the card code Serratas. Are they? Interesting. I haven't actually gone through that, so I'll have to double check. By the way, that has been the whirlwind tour of the balanced data slate. I hope you all enjoyed. So what I'm going to do is attempt, whilst I've got people here, to raid someone, and I don't know how to do that, so give me a moment. I don't want to insert an ad. How do I do this raid thing? It's fine. This? No? Anyone know how to raid in YouTube? Is it just /raid on... I don't think it's /raid on YouTube. On Twitch it is. I think YouTube you have to do like the redirect thing. Alright, Paul, Google. How do I raid on YouTube? How to raid on YouTube live stream. How to run YouTube Live? Yeah, here we go. How to use YouTube. Right. Customization, redirect. Okay. Why are we talking about storage controllers? Okay, so there. Alright, here we are. So
The cat.
I think he's still live. So I think now when I end this, he should all go over there. So I'm going to send you to Liam Dempsey, who's currently streaming. Hey, look, New Balance Dataslate stuff. So that'll be interesting. But thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, go and like, comment, subscribe, all this usual stuff. I like to say that at the end of everything because that's just how I am. But no, I had a good time today. I had a fun stream. Fun to discuss everything. But that'll be it from me. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you next Thursday, probably.